Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna devotees. Today we'll read Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 8. And before reading, I seek the blessings of all the devotees and Guru Maharaj for me to say a few words and about this shlokas. A lot of devotees have covered the previous verses, and some of the realizations are going to be similar from this verse, number 8. But I will still like to share those realizations, at least for me. Repetition and seeing those realizations from different shlokas is purifying and beneficial. So I will try to say a few words and I seek the blessings. I will read the text, Sanskrit, and the translation and the purport. Yat sannindhav aham hu kandavam agnaidham Indram cha samara ganam tarsa vijitya labdha sabha maya krita bhuta shilpa maya digbhayo haran nirpatyo balimat bharete. One more time. Yat sanindhav aham hu kandavam agnaidham Indram cha samara ganam tarsa vijitya Labdha sabha maya krita bhuta shilpa maya digbhayo haram nirpatyo balimat bharate. I'll read the English. Yet, whose? Sannidhav, being nearby. Aham, myself. You, note of astonishment. Khandavam, the protected forest of Indra. King of heaven. Agnai, unto the fire god. Adam, delivered. Indram, Indra. Cha, also. Sa, along with Amaraganam, demigods. Tarisa, with all dexterity. Vijitya, having conquered. Labdha, having obtained. Sabha, assembly house. Maya Krita, built by Maya. Adbhuta, very wonderful. Shilpa, art and workmanship. Maya, potency. Digbhaya, from all directions. Aharanan, Aharan, collected. Nirpatya, all princesses. Balem, presentations. Adbhare, brought. Te, your. Translation. Because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indra Deva, along with his demigod associates, and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Kandava forest. And only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Kandava forest, and thus we could build our assembly house of wonderful architectural workmanship, where all the princesses assembled during the performance of Rajasuya Yagya and paid you tributes. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demon Maya Danava was an inhabitant of the forest Kandava, and when the Kandava forest was set on fire,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Oh, you went on mute, Prabhu. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kandava set on fire. Yeah, that time. I think that's where you're reading.
Prabhu, when did I go on mute?
No, just like few seconds back when the Kandava forest was set on fire. I think some sentence.
Okay, so I will read the purport again.
Yeah.
Purport by His Grace, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demon Maya Danva was an inhabitant of the forest Khandva. And when the Khandva forest was set on fire, he asked protection from Arjuna. Arjuna saved his life, and as a result of this, the demon felt obliged. He reciprocated by building a wonderful assembly house for the Pandavas, which attracted the extraordinary attention of all state princesses. They felt the supernatural power of the Pandavas, and thus, without grudge, all of them submitted and paid tributes to the emperor. The demons possess wonderful and supernatural powers to create material wonders. But when they are always disturbing elements of the society, the modern demons are the harmful material scientists to create some material wonders for the disturbance in the society. For example, the creation of nuclear weapons has caused some panic in human society. Maya was also a materialist like that, and he knew the art of creating such wonderful things. And yet Lord Krishna wanted to kill him. When he was chased both by the fire and by the wheel of Lord Krishna, he took shelter of such devotees as Arjuna, who saved him from the wrath of the fire of Lord Krishna. Devotees are therefore more merciful than the Lord. And in devotional service, the mercy of a devotee is more valuable than the mercy of the Lord. Both the fire and the Lord ceased from chasing the demon as a result, as soon as both of them saw that the demon was given shelter by such a devotee as Arjuna. This demon, feeling obliged to Arjuna, wanted to do some service to show his gratefulness. But Arjuna declined to accept anything from him in exchange. Lord Shri Krishna, however, being pleased with the Maya for his taking shelter of a devotee, asked him to render service unto King Yudhishthira by building a wonderful assembly house. The process is that by the grace of the devotee, the mercy of the Lord is obtained. And by the mercy of the Lord, a chance to serve the Lord's devotee is obtained. The club of Bhimasena was also a gift of Maya Danva. So I will read one of these lines again. The process is that by the grace of the devotee, the mercy of the Lord is obtained. And by the mercy of the Lord, a chance to serve the Lord's devotee is obtained. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjanaya Shalakya Chakshur Anilitam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Jagat Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate. Pancha Kalpatpurusya Cha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitatnam Pavanbhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namah. Ya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This is another remembrance of Arjuna and his prayers and glorifying Krishna. So my understanding, what happened in Mahabharata was that the demon Maya Danva was creating disturbance in the society. And as a result, there was a fight to vanquish the demons. And the Khandva forest was set on fire, and there were only very few exits left to escape from the fire. But by one reason or the other, whichever escape the demons thought they could escape from, they found Krishna at that exit. So, of course, no one can run away from Krishna. So the demons were killed, and Maya Danva also thought that he was clever, went to find an escape, and he found Krishna right there at the front of the escape. So even though he was a demon and creating a lot of disturbance in the society, he had some intelligence, and he had got one thing right. So the intelligence was he decided to take the shelter of the pure devotee of Krishna, Arjuna, and he fell at his feet and asked for forgiveness. And the story goes that Arjuna said to the demon that, look, you don't take shelter of me, but take shelter of Krishna. And Maya Danva says, well, if I take the shelter of Krishna, if I go to Krishna, I might get killed. So only you can save me. But Arjuna, as a pure devotee, genuinely from his heart did not feel that he was qualified that Maya Danva should fall at his feet. He genuinely did not feel that he was qualified. And Krishna sees the heart of the devotee, and Krishna knows everything. And what is in the heart of the devotee, and what is the heart of the demon right now. So that exchange between Arjuna and Maya Danva pleased Krishna, and that is how Maya Danva was saved. And then Maya Danva asked for the mercy for his life, and which was granted. And he became grateful, and he of course wanted to do some service back to Arjuna for saving his life. And Arjuna genuinely did not want anything in return either, because in the first place he did not feel qualified that Maya Danva should fall on his feet. But secondly, when he was asked for if he could do anything in return, he also did not genuinely felt that that he deserved anything from Maya Danva, and therefore he declined that offer as well. So the inner heart of the Arjuna was that in both the instances when Maya Danva fell on his feet, that he genuinely did not deserve. So, and when he offered something to be done, he did not genuinely felt that he needed anything. So Krishna sees that also the inner working of the heart, not just what we say or what we appear as a devotee, not just what we do, which are important. What we say is important, what we do is important, but the intention behind what we say and what we do is even more important. And Krishna sees the intention, the purity and genuineness in the heart of the devotee. So, and then Krishna saw that Maya Danva was really grateful, wanted to do something. So he asked to do service for Yudhishthira, and which was to build this wonderful magical palace, which actually bewildered all the princesses of that era. And when they came to perform, when Maharaj Yudhishthira performed the Rajasuya Yagya, then all the princes were very pleased. And of course, Duryodhana also came, and that's where the story happened, that he saw a mirage of water, but he actually thought it was a water. So he kind of lifted his dhoti so it doesn't get wet. And then it seemed that there was no water, and Duryodhana was like, wow, this is a wonder. And then when he goes next, then something again appeared like water, and Duryodhana thinks that, well, yeah, I figured it out. And he walks straight across, or tries to walk straight across, and then fall in the water. And that became a big laughing scene, not just for Pandavas, but his own brothers as well. And that set the little bit of the stage for Mahabharata as well. So if we go back, and some of the realizations from here is, so if I read this, that the process is that by the grace of the devotee, the mercy of the Lord is obtained, and by the mercy of the Lord, a chance to serve the Lord's devotee is obtained. So when we think about the grace of the devotee, it is the grace actually comes from the gratitude of the devotee. And what do we understand by gratitude? The gratitude is that having a complete understanding in our intelligence that all that has been provided to us as devotees, whether material or even spiritual, is provided by Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. And so we as devotees owe nothing. So everything is provided, both material and spiritual, as well as the free will. The only thing we decide is how we exercise our free will, and where we decide to use that free will to focus our attention. So if we focus our attention on material things, then that's what we get back is more material things. But if we focus our attention on the Lord and Lord's feet, then our heart becomes purified. And as our heart becomes purified, then we can unpack the love that is unpack the infinite love that is within us. And as we unpack the love that is within us, then we are motivated and inspired to pay more attention to the Lord and Lord's devotees and the lotus feet of the Lord. So that is how the grace of the devotee develop. The grace of the devotee develops from the gratitude and a complete understanding that we owe nothing. Everything that we do is provided to us. If we think, starting from the day we are born in this life and to the time we leave this life, there is one thing that is stay with us, the breath. And we get free breaths without our knowledge and awareness. We are breathing. We have free food provided to us by nature. We have our body, and we have the food that's automatically digested. And we have this body becomes the instrument to serve the Lord and also achieve the ultimate or get a chance to achieve the ultimate perfection of life. So all these things are provided to us. So as so long we have that understanding that all these things are provided to us, we owe nothing. That gives us that understanding. With that understanding comes the gratefulness, and with that understanding is how, with that gratefulness, we can understand and remember Krishna. And if we can remember Krishna, then we can remember the fact that we owe nothing, and everything is provided to us by Krishna, and that may help us remember Krishna. So if we see this verse, here in this verse, Krishna is Arjuna is remembering Krishna and glorifying him. But what actually happened in the Mahabharata is different from his prayers. Now, if Srila Prabhupada had not written this purport, we would not have, just reading the verse, we would not have known what actually happened. So what actually happened was that Maya Danva took the shelter of Krishna, of Arjuna, and then by his grace, Lord Krishna was pleased, and by the genuineness and purity in his heart that he did not deserve that Maya Danva should fall on his feet. So that is how he was saved. But the verse is quite different. In the verse, in the prayers, Arjuna is glorifying Krishna, and by Krishna's grace, Maya Danva was saved. So what we can see from this is that Arjuna's position is unchanged. Even when this incident happened, he was genuinely feeling undeserving, and he was remembering Krishna. Now that that incident has happened and Krishna is gone and left Arjuna, he has the same platform, which is so there is no change in the platform. He is still remembering Krishna and not taking credit for himself. So the other thing we can see from this is that Krishna is always seeing our intention and what is in our heart. We may appear genuine, we may appear to do genuine actions, we may appear to do certain things, but unless we are completely genuine in our heart, and unless we and Krishna would see that, and unless we are genuine in our heart, and our thoughts and what is in our heart is what comes in the words that we utter, and from those words where we utter is what we do, what actions we perform. So Krishna sees all the way through what is in our heart and what is in our intention. So if we are devotee in our heart, then we are always a devotee. If we are only appearing to be a devotee, then and our intentions are not fully aligned yet, and which I myself is working on, then Krishna sees that, and then we have work to do to become that devotee. That actually then becomes then that's when it becomes possible to display the grace that from which the mercy of the Lord is obtained. So we can only display the grace when our intentions are pure, when our heart is pure, and because Krishna sees that. So those were the key realizations from for me from this verse. The first is that having a perpetual gratitude that we owe nothing and everything is provided to us, and we can only exercise our free will to see where we focus our attention, and that can purify our heart and intentions. And second is that Krishna would see that purity in our heart and intentions that make us become a devotee and utter that grace that makes us possible to have a grace in the first place. Even the grace we display comes from Krishna, and we directly don't display that grace, but what we actually do is make our heart and intentions pure. Another thing to contemplate on is that in terms of intention and purity of the heart, devotee doesn't need anything in return. Even when we are the instrument of Krishna and are able to do something with Krishna's mercy, we don't take credit for that. We don't want anything in return. And so but then if we don't need anything in return, Krishna sees that also, and then Krishna can shower his mercy and blessings and make and help build palaces like what Pandavas got that help them to do powerful Rajasviya yajnas. So a devotee, so an extension of being purity and purity of heart and intentions is also devotee doesn't want anything in return. It's not like hey, just if I get this job with this salary or this benefit, so that little hidden shopping lists are also not invisible to Krishna. Krishna sees that also. But as we become pure by focusing our attention and exercising our free will, those inner shopping lists, those inner desires can slowly go away. So, those were some of the reflections that I had from this verse. Is again, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's all of these reflections are a reinforcement of the reflections and realizations that the devotees prior in this chapter and the prior chapter shared. So I am not sharing anything new, but just reinforcing those reflections and realizations from the perspective of this particular verse. So I will pause here, but definitely if I said anything wrong, I beg for forgiveness, for correction. At the same time, I definitely will love to have some discussions on this topic from the devotees. So I will pause here and invite thoughts, comments, and questions if there are any.
Hare Krishna, Savyasachi Prabhu. This is Jayant. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, please accept my humble obeisances. And Prabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, thank you for the wonderful lecture. Just one kind of personal situation. So basically, mind is disturbed. Obviously due to being in the material life, and there's some anartha where I'm trying to overcome, right, in the current situation, and giving it time and effort before I before I try to move away from the situation and look for some other things, right, options. So more like a demonic character. So just like how the demon built the palace for the Pandavas, would it help? I'm not even thinking it. I mean, because this is something basic for me. Shopping, it's not a shopping list, but a basic shopping list. So if I go and say during that period, do more service at the temple, I mean, how would you compare that, right? Like a demon building a palace for the Pandavas, versus a devotee going and doing service in the temple, just to get out of that disturbed period, right? Which is obviously caused by the material life and our desires.
Thank you for sharing the question. So maybe I can just repeat it. Maybe there are two questions or one question. First question is, how do we compare Mayadanva building the palace for the Pandavas and doing service in the temple to vanquish the anarthas? Is that the question, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Okay. So so my understanding is, first of all, Pandavas did not ask for that palace to be built. They did not ask. Neither they had the intention that Mayadanva should do this magical thing. Even though they knew that he could do that, yeah, but they didn't feel deserving. So when we have a shopping list, so yes, services at the temple or services at the for other devotees definitely help. That is for sure certain to help. But also having an understanding that sometimes Krishna's plans, which are perfect for us, are different from can be sometimes different from our plans, and our plans may not match Krishna's plans. So, and we can maybe all of us, and myself for sure, can relate to this, that every time I was in my past rejected from something, that was for my own benefit, because whatever I was rejected from in the past, which felt very frustrating at that time, actually Krishna knew that that was not good thing for me and for my karma. And so it's not always rejection. And yes, we have anarthas. I have anarthas as well. It's not just rejection by Krishna. It is repurposing from something that we desired to something else, because Krishna's plans, nobody knows. Only a very pure devotee can know Krishna's plans. And so Krishna is diverting us away from something that's not good for us and repurposing us from to something else. And that repurposing may sometimes take days, sometimes take months, or sometimes can take years. So what we can pray is just to have an understanding that let my plans be aligned with Krishna's plans, even though today they are not working out the way we wanted, we planned for. But Krishna's plan can be higher. And so I can go back and see that whenever I had rejections, I had difficulties, they were actually, in hindsight, at that time, they felt really disturbing and frustrating. But in hindsight, that was actually extremely beneficial. That's exactly what I needed at that point in time. So having that faith that Krishna's plans are at a higher platform, are for our betterment, and there may be a temporary lag between aligning our plans and Krishna's plans. Having that faith while doing services and diverting our mind away can be beneficial. But again, I may not have provided the answer you were looking for, Prabhuji, but I just shared some of the reflections from my perspective. And if any other devotee wants to add to that, I would love to hear that as well, because this is a very enlightening and very practical, but we can most of us can relate to that kind of discussion.
Thank you, Prabhu. Really helpful, very detailed. Thanks a lot.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing your, short class and nice realizations. And yeah, I was thinking from last two classes and this class, what all Arjuna could do. Not because of his own strength he's feeling, because of, the Lord is being with him, right? So, he was so grateful that he was able to do so many things that nobody can imagine that he was able to do, right? Challenging Indra, right? So many things. So yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, whatever we are able to do. I think it was 2 days back, maybe Pandran Gopal Prabhu, or before the class, I don't remember. Somebody shared about, if somebody is puffed off, what we are able to do, and then, that only we are able to do that gone, right? After that, I think. But yeah, if we are seeing the Lord's hand in whatever we are able to do, we see sometimes. Many devotees, and including us as well, right? So we are able, sometimes otherwise we will not be able to do, but yeah, because of the mercy of the Lord, we are able to achieve something, right? So, but if we get puffed up because yeah, I did this, I could do this, so then the next moment, that's it. Yeah, I may not be able to do the same thing again, right? Either activity or the preaching, right? Sometimes when we're talking, if you're dependent on the Lord, something comes out of our mouth, which we could not even think of sometimes, right? So, but yeah, it's because of the mercy of the Lord and the devotees. So, but yeah, if we are grateful for that thing, whatever happened, and not taking the, I did this kind of mentality, then we will be saved. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think Arjuna is, I think you're relating with, if we don't have the purports of Prabhupada, how we could understand these things in so detail. Of course, this purport and then the whole whatever Prabhupada is written elsewhere, right? So we're able to understand those meanings.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it was Panduranga Gopal Prabhu's class got fucked up. And that's very wonderful for reinforcing that, because whatever we are able to do, whether it's with our hands, whether it's our eyes, we can see and speak. We didn't create our hands, that they were provided to us. So everything is coming from Krishna. Everything, so how we interact in this world and the results we get is also created by Krishna. So all we can do is exercise our free will. And of course, free will is also given by Krishna, but where we exercise our free will, and that's our only choice. And the rest of the actions that we perform, we are able to perform, they are because of the facilities given by Krishna. Whatever the results come out of those actions, they're also coming from Krishna. So that's why when we think about offer everything to Krishna, is logically also, if we think, it's not just a sentimental thing that we offer everything to Krishna. It is a logical thing as well, because whatever facilities we have to do anything comes from Krishna, and whatever results are there are also coming from Krishna. All we are doing is just exercising our free will that was also given to us by Krishna. So that's how I think about why we should offer everything to Krishna and to be in Krishna consciousness, is because everything is coming from Krishna anyway. We, the spirit souls, we are just a passenger. We are just a passenger in the chariot. So we are not doer, we are passengers. So, by exercising our intelligence and exercising our free will, that's the charioteer, driving the chariot. So, but we as a spirit soul, we are just a passenger and observer. So how can we take credit? How can a passenger take credit for things that are provided by somebody else? So thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing that. So that can keep us humble and never be puffed up.
Radha Kunj Behar Prabhu, you are unmuted. You are sharing something.
Prabhuji, that was by mistake, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, no, not just want to share.
Okay, I'll wait for 10 more seconds if anyone has more thoughts or reflections. Okay, if not, we can close this class. Vancha kalapurtasya cha kripasindubhya cha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.